Live from Center City, this is Good Day Philadelphia.
Time for Monday's menu to give you some unique cooking ideas, maybe something you haven't thought of. And this morning, we don't hear about it very often, but some people are cooking with alcohol. Sean Ford is one of them. He's the executive chef of Alpha Restaurant and Bar that's located at 1709 Walnut Street. Good morning to you.
Hi, how you doing? I'm
doing great. Okay, so I've heard of beer and chicken, maybe a little white wine and pasta, but I guess you have something different to show us this morning. What are you making?
Yeah, we're gonna be cooking with a little whiskey today.
Whiskey?
I'm gonna be making a butternut squash soup.
Okay.
And what we're doing here at Alpha this month is we're doing a whiskey month. It's part of our spirituality series, this is one part of the series. We're doing whiskey this month, champagne next month, and hot drinks in February.
Okay.
So here at Alpha, I love to use booze to cook with. I love to use whiskey, whatever kind of booze I can get my hand on.
Now, do you taste it? Do you taste it in the food?
You can taste it. It depends on how much you actually use.
Okay.
Actually, when you're doing this process, you can cook off the alcohol, or you can choose to leave some of the alcohol flavor in. For this particular dish, I like to cook the alcohol off. It does leave a residual flavor, and the whiskey kind of combines with the sour apple that I use here, and with the butternut squash quite well.
Well, walk it through us really quickly if you can.
Yep, okay, really quickly, this is what we do. You start off with butternut squash, you peel it down, you dice it down, and you're going to hit it with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper, and do it in an oven for about, I'd say about 10-15 minutes or so, until it's about tender, maybe 20 minutes. As you can see here, you get it tender. After you get that together, what you want to do is you want to start on your fake burner here. Actually, you're going to be using heat probably when you do it, but we don't have this this facility at this point. So anyway, you're going to take your thing and you're going to sweat your leeks with a little bit of butter. Basically, what sweating is, you're cooking at a very low temperature. You don't want to cook at too high a temperature. If you hear a sizzle, that's not sweating. Sweating is when you want to just let it go at a very low temperature, just to basically marry those flavors. You're going to sweat the leeks down there, add a little bit of the sour apple. You're going to continue to cook that down a little bit, and as soon as you're translucent, about 3 minutes into it, you're going to add your butternut squash in.
Wait, what did you say as soon as you're translucent?
Translucent is kind of like when you look at the onions there, or the leeks, they're kind of opaque in color.
Okay.
They start to lose their color a little bit, and they start to look, they start to look like they're breaking down and cooking a little bit, but you don't want any color on them. Then you're going to add your butternut squash in here, and if you prefer, I add a little bit of habanero, just a little sliver to give it a little kick, which to compare with the whiskey a little bit. And then it comes from my favorite part at this point. You'll take the whiskey and, oh, it smells so great. Yeah, the whiskey is
you need booze after all this cooking.
This is Old Crow, and it's still good.
Keep in mind it's 8:20 in the morning, but that's okay.
That's fine. Then you add your whiskey in. You cook your whiskey off there. After your whiskey's cooked off, you're just going to add enough water or stock just to cover. You're going to simmer that with a little aromatics for about 20 minutes, and as soon as it's done, 20 minutes later, you can use a utensil that looks like this. It can be found at most stores, or you can use a blender. You're just going to buzz that up. After it's buzzed up, put it through a chinois or something like this, which we use in the kitchen to basically strain out the particles. You can leave them in if you like them more.
What did you call that? We're learning new vocab words.
You can leave that in.
What did you call it? Chinois?
It's a fine strainer. We call it a bouillon strainer.
Ooh, okay.
And then here's the finished product here. What we're going to do is after it's strained out, you heat it, put a little pumpkin seed oil on top, just like that.
I'm just going to his restaurant.
Jen says she's just going to come to your restaurant because that looks complicated.
A little brioche croutons there.
Okay.
And of course, we're going to finish with a little bit of whiskey right on top.
There you go.
Here's my question to you, Sean, really quickly. I don't know if you can answer this, but what does it taste like? You know what? I'm watching these ingredients there with the whiskey. What's it? Is it like a sour soup, or is it a?
Let me tell you.
Sean.
Tastes great. Tastes really good, actually.
And less filling as well.
Oh, the soup. You were talking about the soup. The soup tastes wonderful, actually, too.
Show.
It gives it this gives it a nice little balance between sweetness and whiskey. Actually, you can taste the whiskey on the back of your palate. Actually, when you're tasting it, it's not an obnoxious flavor. It's a flavor that we found that goes quite well together.
So do you have to be 18 or 21 to enjoy the soup?
No, not at all. Actually, the alcohol content is low enough that I don't think the liquor control board's going to come in here.
Well, they're coming after you for doing that.
They definitely are. But
all right, Sean Ford, thank you so much. And for anybody at home watching, we put everything on myfoxphilly.com. I said it was going to be unique, and that it was. Thank you, Sean, from Alpha Restaurant.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.